Hello, you're watching FootballFan.Zone. I'm joined by Kenny Sansom. Kenny, of course, when you first started playing, back in the mid-70s for Crystal Palace, the wages weren't quite what they are today.
Yeah, I think my apprentice wage was £8 for me and £12 for my mum.
So your mum got more than you did?
Yeah, for looking after me, which she did very, very well, so I'm pleased with that.
And let's fast forward a couple of decades and a couple of TV deals. These footballers now, when they're first coming out of their apprenticeship, probably picking up, you know, four-figure sums plus.
Incredible money, you know, you're talking 5,000 for apprentice, maybe even more when they turn pro, depending what the club think of them and how rated they are. 25 grand. 30.
Is it too much, too soon?
Well, if the clubs are willing to pay it, then you've got to say it is. Because, you know, years and years ago in the city, if you was a young kid in the city and you was very good at your job, you would get paid big money plus big bonuses. So I don't think the money is the issue, it's what they do with it. I think they do get more advice now, obviously. They have their parents, obviously, first of all. Then they'll have the club will make sure they're looked after. If they feel they're getting into a hole with wasting their money, or they buy clothes and stuff like that, cars and whatever they want to buy, that's entirely up to them. But obviously I know the other side of it, which, you know, obviously drinking or gambling or anything like that gets hold of a young kid. It's very difficult to get rid of it. So
you're not surprised then when you read stories of players, you know, spending millions on gambling?
Oh no, of course I'm not surprised, because it's a drug and it's an illness that, you know, I've got both of them, so, you know, I do know all about it, but it's very hard to stop. Once you get a feel for it, you feel you can't lose, a drink makes you feel better, or whatever the situation, whatever's going on in his head, you know, the young player, it can affect them. So they do need a bit of protection. If they can do it as a pastime, I think it's fantastic. You know, I clap people who can have a bet just on a Saturday and just have a drink on a Saturday and a Sunday, the weekends. It's fantastic. If you can do that, it's marvellous.
So you think the clubs should protect their investment a bit more? Because these players are worth, not just
money.
on a weekly wage, but they're worth 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 million pounds.
Oh yeah, I think most clubs do protect them as much as they can, but the individual in the person, what it is, I think, is trying to guess when it's happening, or realise, or someone close to you, close to this player, saying, I think he's having a problem, and but talk to someone about it.
Should the education start when they join clubs at 7, 8, 9, 10?
I don't know about 7, 8, 9, 10. I always think football, I think when you're age of 12, so up to the age of 15, I think them 3 years, you're learning about a bit of life, you're dealing with your mates and people who are not as lucky as you being in football, so you talk about a lot of things, and it might be drink, it might be gambling, it might be anything. You know, fighting, it could be, whatever the situation, you'll be talking to them. I think around about 12 is the age I think you should step in.
And would you have something in place from the PFA as well? Because the clubs themselves have responsibility. Do you think the PFA could do more to help these young players?
Yeah, I think the PFA do a fantastic job. They have done it for me in the past, and they've done a fantastic job. Obviously they can do more. Everyone can do more, but I just think it's stepping in at the age of 13, and people like myself, maybe Tony Adams, I know Tony does a lot of power talks, just to tell them what it's like and how you can slip into it that easy. You know, it's like a bit of ice.
And what about, you know, when you finish football, you've been through some dark moments yourself? Yeah, I have. I've been through moments where I'm sleeping rough and all that sort of stuff, and I've come through it now. I'm working for a company that I'm working in a scaffolding yard, which is, you know, I just get a dream feeling that my mum said to me before she passed away that she had a dream of me working as a scaffolder. My brother is a proper scaffolder. I work in the yard, just do bits and pieces. I enjoy it. The banter is second to none. When this kid realised that I'd played for England, he actually came up to me and said, "Is that right? You played in World Cups and played for England and played for Arsenal?" I said, "That's right." He said, "Why did you give that up to be a scaffolder?" I said, "It's a long story, son, do you know what I mean?" So the whole staff now, that's our little joke for the week. What was the highlight of your career? I think playing for England schoolboys at Wembley, seeing my mum there, seeing my nan and granddad. You know, my mum's parents very proud of me, and there was about 40 people from my family come to watch me, and walking out of Wembley. It's big now, but when you're 15, it's massive. So, you know, there was a few noises coming from certain places. Now tell us about that infamous hand of God, 86, Diego Maradona, the greatest player I've ever seen. Yeah, he's most probably, I'd choose about 5 players the best I've ever seen, and
Maradona was one of them. Franz Beckenbauer gets in front of him.
What about the first goal, the hand of God? Tell us your memories of that.
I actually didn't see it. I know, what's his name? Stevie Hodge mishit it. Yeah. And it went up in the end, give him the opportunity to try and head it in. And straight after, everyone blamed Peter Shilton. Because really, he should have punched his head, really.
Absolutely.
But if he'd have tried to head it, Maradona, Shields would have got there. So that's the thing with the second goal. We actually worked on it. The ball goes into Gary Lineker, he holds it up, it comes back to Glenn Hoddle. I make a late run. So I was actually on the left wing.
So it's your fault?
No, I was on the left wing. All I see was poor Peter Reid chasing this number 10 of Argentina. And it came one of the most famous goals of all time.
That was where he danced around Fenwick and Butcher was there.
Yeah, twice I think. Yeah. Terry would have fouled him, but he'd been booked in the first half. That's a difficult one. You're getting sent off for your club's all right, but when it's England, it's different.
What was it like in the dressing room? What did Sir Bobby Robson say to you?
Absolute swearing, you name it.
Felt cheated?
Replay the game. We was telling the staff of the FA, you've got to get it replayed. He's cheated. You know, it's never going to happen. And the worst thing, Stevie Hodge got his shirt.
That's right.
And we were saying, what do you want his shirt for? He's a cheat. And there was a few swear words and all that. It's worth 250 grand.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have got it. Yeah. Tell you.
You must have had some great stories throughout the years. Give me an anecdote of your early days.
I think my early days, I was naive. I'm naive now, 55, but I was naive when I was 16 and a half and we was travelling up to play Tranmere Rovers on a Friday night. So we was going to sleep in the afternoon and travel up in the morning. So as I'm sitting on the train, I'm opposite Peter Taylor, who's the comedian at the club at the time. So I'm sitting next to him, I'm a bit nervous, I'm making my debut, and every time I looked at him,
I love you. You're saying I love you?
I love you. Miming it. So I put my head down like that, and every time I looked at him, I love you. So I'm really nervous, I'm panicking. I get to the hotel, and he said, who are you rooming with? I said, I'm rooming with Dave Swindler. So he went, oh, I won't say nothing then. And I was going, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he went, well, Ken, I will tell you, I've got to tell you. So I'm a senior player. He said, if you go after dinner, go up to the room, if the beds are together, pushed together, and he's laying on the bed with no clothes on, and he's got one of those magazines in his hand, just look after yourself. So I went up there, thinking nothing of it, went in the room, the beds were together, there he is, naked with a dirty magazine. I never slept. You know what I mean? But that was banter. I think that might be called bullying now. It was great banter, and it made me, I actually become the comedian after Peter Taylor left.
So you started bullying?
Yeah, I didn't do them things, but I didn't say I love you.
Kenny, brilliant stuff. Cheers.
Thanks.